sober meets classy. Live your best life and sip with us. Sophistication is a must. We're winning in a new way. Where sober meets classy. Sober sophistication. Sober sophistication. Sober Sophistication, the podcast.
One more time. Yeah.
Sober Sophistication, winning in a new way. It's alcohol free. With sober meets classy. Live your best life and sip with us. Sophistication is a must. We're winning in a new way. With sober meets classy. Sober Sophistication. Sober Sophistication.
What's going on, fam?
Peace, family.
How's everybody doing? Look, I have to grab my hat. Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
All right, y'all. So, welcome to Sober Sophistication Podcast, episode 1. We are happy to have you join us today for the first of what we believe will be many as we go through this journey of what it is that we do. So,
Hey, now I'm ready for Sober Sophistication Podcast.
I'm glad she's ready.
Yes, I'm ready. Of course, Sober Sophistication Podcast is everything in love, lifestyle, and non-alcoholic wine. And so we thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have so much to talk about.
Well, first of all, I feel it's appropriate that we actually introduce ourselves.
Yes.
So, ladies first.
I'm Karima.
And I'm Anthony. So together we make up Magnolia Crescent Orchards and Non-Alcoholic Winery. We are a married couple. We've been married for about 4.5 years now. Next July we make 5 years.
Come on now. Black love.
Black love and black business.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So you may be asking yourself, other than who are we? You may want to know, well, how did you all get started? Because Magnolia Crescent is, as we stated earlier, it's a non-alcoholic winery. So what is that all about? How do we get started? So I feel, since this is episode 1, we'll probably spend a few moments going into the background of how we got started. So you want to get started?
Well, I would just first like to crack open our bottle of non-alcoholic wine because it just wouldn't seem right to have a conversation and we're not sipping on something alcohol-free.
Agreed. So today we are sipping on, this is the Lucery brand. Let me bring it up. Lucery brand organic sparkling brew. So this is one of our sparkling white wine that we have. Go to our website, which is magnoliacrescent.farm. You'll be able to find this where you can get your own. And so it's actually one of the latest additions to our collection. It's a very delicious white wine. And actually, to be quite honest, it has surprised me because it's been a very popular item as part of our collection. Those who have tried it love it. White wines can go either way. Some people like them, some people don't. But I would say across the board, we've had great feedback as it relates to white wine. So, without any further delay, I'm going to, she said crack. We're not going to crack. We're going to pop the cork. So, now, if you buy sparkling wine from
please
us,
please tell them.
Don't open it up like this. Don't open it up like that. All right. What you should do, first of all, you want to hold your bottle at like a 45 degree angle. I'm pointing this way just to kind of illustrate. I'm not going to open it this way. So you pour it at a 45 degree angle, and you want to you hold the cork here, and you actually want to twist the bottle while holding the cork. Okay, so let's demonstrate that. So it's hard because I'm left-handed and I like to open with the right hand, but I'm gonna make it do this way. So, You all heard that. There was no special effects there. So,
and nobody got injured.
Nobody get injured. You want the,
Yes, please. Yes, please. I want the dried.
We got some. So we're learning.
Blood oranges.
Yeah, we're
I
learning.
blinked out for a minute. How you doing, Natasha? Thank you for joining our live. Thank you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop it in the comment section there. Love to hear from you. First, we're talking about what we're sipping on, which is our sparkling brute. It's from our non-alcoholic white wine collection. And my husband just popped the bottle, so we're about to get our sip on in a minute. And we wanted to do that before we opened up the conversation. Yes. I'm away from my hubby. Okay. Look, we got some cheapy plastic glasses, so please bear with us.
Yeah, we are in a bit of a transition phase.
Yes, we're packing.
And so things is not where they normally are. So as a result, we had to go to
the plastic. But look, we're gonna make it do what it do nonetheless. We're gonna have our pinky up anyway. Cling.
Now, that was a sound effect right there.
Oh. It is so good, Natasha.
Sparkling brute, organic brute, illusory. Illusory is one of our non-alcoholic wine partners out of Spain.
Very, very nice.
Oh, and by the way, when you get your sparkling beverage, you have to have you a wine stopper. And it just so happens that we have a Magnolia Crescent wine stopper. So in order to get yours, when you order your sparkling beverage, you have to go to Amazon.com, actually. Because of the, what is that called? The Black business?
We were awarded the Black Accelerator grant. And a part of the relationship that we have with Amazon is that we have some products that we can offer through the Amazon platform. So if you go on Amazon and you type in Sober Sophistication, you will see our non-alcoholic wine champagne stoppers. And they are excellent quality. They are stainless steel. They are made to last for a very, very long time. Anyone who knows either Anthony or myself know that we don't do, we don't invest in cheap products that we offer to other people, because we believe in the best for the best. So we're not going to have anything that is, as my auntie would say, half cost, right? So it is a wonderful champagne stopper. It works beautifully with the sparkling options, and it keeps everything bubbly like it should a little longer.
Absolutely. So she said you could try Sober Sophistication. If not, if you can't find it, if you type in Magnolia Crescent, because I just checked this before we went live. If you type Magnolia Crescent with the space in between the two words, that stopper should probably be the first item that pops up. And if you order it now, especially if you have a Prime membership, you'll get it like within the next couple of days.
Awesome.
Right?
And yes, the non-alcoholic brute can be ordered online, and we ship it right to your door. So the first question that we had as a part of this show is, do Black folks do dry? And we're talking about dry January. So we decided, although a little bit late, forgive us, we decided to put a poll together. And just to be honest with you, it took a while because I had to call on our digital specialist of the household. And this is outside of Anthony, of course. And that is our daughter. Awa.
15 years.
And look, teenagers get you right, okay? So she went ahead and put it together. She did, it's just this, Mom. Right, okay. So she got the poll up and running for us. And so if you hadn't had the opportunity, take these few moments, go ahead, answer the poll. And then maybe we should wait for the end of the show to talk about what the poll is. That way we kind of give you stuff. But when Anthony and I first started opening up our winery,
Those two.
okay, well, we don't drink, but we like to. And even though sweet tea is supposed to be the wine of the South, not so much for us. So we wanted to do something. We wanted to have an elevated experience. We didn't want to feel like we're at the children's table, kind of like how we were when we were children, how all the children sat at one table. We wanted to have an elevated experience because we're adults. And so we did our homework, and of course, there's a whole another aspect of the story that my husband gets into oftentimes during interviews. But when we, started researching the landscape of non-alcoholic wines, we came across amazing non-alcoholic wines overseas. And so we started ordering a few in, and we tried it. We're like, boy, this is really good. And then we shared it with my besties, Kanetta and Madeira. And those look with my hearts, right? And they were like, wow, this is really, really good. Where can we get this? And we're like, And literally that's how we started, right? And so at about December, during the holiday season, we said, okay, we honestly made a prayer. God, if we sell, if we do what was a large order for us, and we sell every bottle, then we'll know that is a sign from you that you want us to continue in offering non-alcoholic. And at 11:59, we sold our last bottle of non-alcoholic wine in that order. And we knew in that moment, okay, God is opening up those doors. And this is really important to understand this. When we get into the relationship part of our conversation, we rely heavily on prayer and the Spirit of God speaking to us and ordering our steps. That's one of those expressions we get from the church that our grandmothers and our aunts will say to us, but they're very real. And so we don't use it just in our personal lives, but we also use that in our professional lives. So we don't make a distinction one way or the other. And I'm sure that could resonate with many who are watching. And so as we're doing the research, we came across something called Dry January. And it, of course, it originated in the UK. And it was this huge campaign to basically encourage people to give up alcohol for 31 days in the month of January. And so as we're kind of researching here in America, we noticed something. It was a little inconspicuous, I guess you could say, but it was
very conspicuous.
Oh, very conspicuous. Thank you. And that is, we noticed we didn't see us.
So if any of you have ever looked like, if you look for stock photos, for example, or even like me when if I was trying to incorporate images, to send emails, I used to help my older daughter when she was in high school. I used to help her come up with pictures for book reports and stuff like that. So I was very familiar with how to go to Google Images and find pictures. So doing something similar when it came time to Dry January, which when we learned about it, as Kareem was saying, coming out of 2021 going into 2022, January of that year, that's right around the time before January we started hearing about, before January of 2022, that's when we started learning about Dry January. And so we wanted to use our Instagram page to kind of help share that with our developing audience. And so she was saying, you're looking at all these images and you're like, I don't see no Black people other than you have these stock photo models. Yeah.
It's
like the same person, like the same Black dude,
same outfit,
same Black woman, but they'll be in different scenes. It could be like a medical, they could be in college, they could be driving a car, something like that, but it's the same person. So it's like, man, there is really no representation of us, at least in these images that were in the public domain. And then as we started listening to like podcasts, people having conversations about Dry January, it was like glaring that there was no representation from us in terms of being interviewed,
Mm-hmm.
And then as we started to kind of get out, because January of 2022 is really when we started getting out into the public doing these pop-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Our very first being Macy's in McDonald, Market by Macy's. So that's when we really started to come into contact with people, and we're like, "Have you heard of Dry January?" And like, no.
We had, I think, one gentleman, one brother who said that he had heard of Dry January, and mainly because he was in recovery. So we did have one brother who had heard of Dry January, but all of our other clients who came and joined us on our pop-up, none of them had ever heard of Dry January. So you're probably asking, what in the world is Dry January? I think we mentioned it.
Yes,
It's 31 consecutive days of letting alcohol go. That is Dry January.
Sure.
And so what we're attempting to do with the platform that we've been blessed with is to share all these different strategies and resources and conversations around how to live a life of love and being alcohol free. So even though my husband and I are not in recovery, we're never classified as being in recovery. Oh no. Oh.
So
learn something every day.
I mean, look, I indulged prior to finding the Lord.
But indulging and it being like an addiction, that's very, very different, right? So to me, when you have an addiction, you can't stop. Like as much as you want to stop, it is very difficult to stop. Was that the situation you were coming out of?
Look, I've had experiences where I literally passed out.
Okay.
So it's probably more than indulging. It wasn't necessarily an addiction either, but it was, it was kind of
borderline addiction.
It wasn't in the middle. It was, yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay. Look, there's no shame here. Wherever we are in the spectrum, I just didn't know that. 4 years married, never knew that. But it's all good, right? We have this platform that we would like to share with you. We want to build this community, right, of getting to know each other and really, just building a really great bond that you can meet other like-minded people and we discuss issues that really matter to us, right? And so that's what Sober Sophistication, the podcast, is about, is an opportunity for us to come together and have these meaningful conversations and to understand that there is a life after alcohol. I know some people don't think that, but there is, okay? Brother David, he's got a message on here. How you doing, Big D? Assalamu alaikum. His question is there a story behind the name Magnolia Crescent Orchards? Yes. How much time we got?
You don't have a lot of time.
Okay, so can you tell the story like real quick, like?
Sure. So, when we bought our home and we decided that we were going to make it into an orchard, of course, we wanted to make it an outdoor event space. And so we started to realize we could have a name for the space. It wouldn't just be my house. Come to my house.
Come on through.
No. So, one thing we discovered on our property is that we have a unique system of magnolia trees. Like they go all over our property in various stages of development, from big, fully grown adult to baby, small, I guess, saplings or whatever you want to call them. Mm-hmm. So, theme magnolia crescent is that was easy, right? Crescent, because we are taught the crescent moon in the first quarter represents a new beginning.
Absolutely.
And so being that whether you're talking about us being in business together, there's a lot of new beginnings, right? Mm-hmm. By the time we acquired our property, we were only married for like a year.
And here's the thing, we got married, the second time. We had 2 ceremonies, right? So our big production ceremony literally was the day either of the shutdown or the day before the shutdown. So after we had our ceremony, we literally went right into quarantine. So coming out of quarantine, like you said, it was like a new beginning again.
Right. So we got the game come in, dealing with COVID. Married for just a little bit over a year. We had acquired this new property. We were in business. We didn't start the business in terms of the non-alcoholic aspect at that time. In terms of actually being able to provide it, we didn't really start that activity until
almost a year later.
Yeah.
Or just maybe 9 months, maybe?
Something like that. It was like around May of 2021. We moved into the property on August of 2020, May 2021 was when we really kind of got started. We got incorporated in November 2021.
And our very first client, paid client, was none other than my dear friend and sister, Kanetta. She's our very first client.
So,
thank you.
So there was this theme of new beginnings that coincide with the Crescent being in its first quarter. So again, Magnolia Crescent, put it together, Magnolia Crescent. And of course, the orchards come from having, once we acquired the property, we got some wisdom given to us in terms of how we could utilize that space to be a fruit orchard. So we started planting several types of fruit trees, fruit shrubs, things of that nature. So Magnolia Crescent Orchards, for short version. There you go.
Thank you for your question. It was a great question.
Yes, it is.
One we don't get to answer often. Feel free to keep it coming, y'all. Keep it coming. Let us know what's on your mind. So we of course put up a poll on our Instagram. If you have not hit that poll, go ahead and hit that poll. Let us know if you have ever heard of Dry January prior to us talking about it on the show this evening. So one of the things that we got some great things rolling out in 2024. One of them, of course, kicking off Dry January. And we just want everyone to understand that we are here for each other. Right? We're here to provide a community. We are here to provide resources, and we're here to be enlightened, right? To be educated by each other, whether it be our experiences or things that we've, read about or seen, and just bringing it to the conversation. So our next part of our conversation, of course, I gotta change the music, y'all, because we're moving into different conversation. Our next topic of discussion.
Yes.
Oh, this is nice. This is good music.
All right.
Next part of our conversation is, how did you know that he or she, me,
her,
was the one?
You want me to answer this?
But wait, before you start to answer,
okay.
How did we get this topic? So I was taking a look at Sister, I don't know if her name is spelled backwards, but is it Honora? Sister Honora, her Instagram, and she was asking all these questions to married couples, right? And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna sit here and type out all my answers. But I wanted to respond. And I wanted to respond to her, but I also wanted to respond to other sisters who have asked similar questions of Anthony and I in passing. Matter of fact, we were in Jacksonville, Florida for a singles event. Shout out to the believers in Jacksonville for hosting such a wonderful event. And that was a big question. It's like, how do you know that the person that you are courting, that you're getting to know, is the one? So, the floor is all yours, Anthony.
All right. So, it's funny because Karima was just listening to an interview we did. It's about a month or so ago, and we were asked the same question. I answered it, but it's one of those things. Sometimes I could be kind of contradictory or go against the grain, because I personally don't necessarily subscribe to the thought that you can know that a person is the one. Now, you can have very strong indicators that they could possibly be the one, if you want to use that language. But my thought was, prior to Kareem and I, we've known each other for several years, and prior to us going through the courtship process, I had kind of made up a list of just qualities that I wanted to have in my next marriage. Peace, Brother Henry, Dr. Henry Carter, sir. We still got to come out and see you.
Yes.
So we can check out. I don't eat turkey.
King's turkey wings.
I don't eat turkey.
So,
but I'm gonna drive her out there so she can have some. I have some. Yes, sir, brother. Anytime you need, brother. Anytime you need. So,
how you know I was the one?
Yeah. So I had this list. You know, my wife and I. If you don't know, if you haven't been following us, we both have been married before. So we are both each other's second time marriage, and so I had a list of qualities that I felt not only that I wanted my wife to possess, but the things that I felt would be a good compliment to me and how I wanted to be developed as a man. And so I had this list, and then going through the questions, there's a courtship manual that we follow. So it's like almost 200 questions. Some of the questions like, okay, I get that, it's obvious. Others like, I would have never thought to have asked that question.
Yes.
Very probing in terms of really digging deep to really get to know one another type of questions. Mm-hmm. And so as we're asking one another these questions and I'm taking inventory of her answers, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, man, she's like checking off all of these things that for me, I felt like I needed. And so, and that's in addition to me already having a very favorable opinion about her before we started the courtship. As friends, we actually, it's funny, being in business, we actually did business together. I had hired her to create an LLC for me to file all my corporate documents and stuff like that. And so I knew she had sense, otherwise I wouldn't have paid her to do that.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so I mean, shucks. Look. So I mean, I knew she had a good head on her shoulders, and I knew that she was a good woman. So these are again all strong indicators. I just don't subscribe to the fact that you know. I know now, being on the other side, you know what I'm saying? But going into it, I was like, yeah, look, this is if knowing is 100%, then she was probably 99.95%. She was very high up there.
That's sweet. Thank
you. Yes.
So, I see your question, Big D. We're going to definitely get to it. I want to make sure we answer this question because this is what we put in our flyers that we're going to discuss. Yes. But I definitely want to get to your question. How did I know that Anthony B was the one? So, this is going to the book. There is a book, Natasha, that I read.
Ooh, we're supposed to bring the book.
Yes, and we were supposed to bring the book. It's actually written by Brother Willie Muhammad, and it's entitled "How to Get the Love You Desire." It is an excellent, excellent book, and I talked about this on a previous interview. What I love about this particular book is that it's very introspective. He asks questions that helps us to identify, or whoever the reader is, patterns of behavior and patterns of the type of people who we seek out for relationships. Not so much identifying what your type is, but trying to identify your behavior in relationships and the type of behavior that is mirrored back to you by other people. Because oftentimes, thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you, Sister Rachel. What's going on, Brother Samuel? Thank you for joining us tonight. You made your word bond. I appreciate it. So that's like one of the things I think oftentimes when we look at trying to find the one or trying to be blessed with the one to be magnetized to come to you is that we don't realize what kind of patterns we're already manifesting, right? I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry.
The book is titled "The Journey to Get the Love You Desire Begins with You."
Oh, thank you. Like, I butchered that name. Can you? I don't know if you could type that in the chat.
Sure can.
Okay, so my husband's gonna type it in the chat while I kind of share how I knew Anthony was the one. So it started with me reading this book, identifying patterns, because I promise you, like, if you look at, I think it asks you to look at your last 3 to 5 relationships and identify, like, why did you break up? You know, what were some of the issues in the relationship? What were some of the things in the relationship that you liked or you didn't like, right? And in the midst of answering these questions, I started also putting together a list, much like the list that he was working on. And we didn't even know we had lists until we started courting. So I'm working on my list of all the things that I wanted in a marriage. I wanted a husband. I wanted in a bonus father for the 2 children that already, you know, that was bringing into the marriage. And also the type of life that I wanted, right? And so when Anthony and I came together and we started courting, I had already been having these conversations with God, asking him to bless me instead of me trying to bless myself. And what I mean by that is, you know, we often say, you know, wait on the Lord or wait for God to put someone in your life, but we may not understand what that really means. And to me, this was my understanding. Okay, this is Karima talking. To me, it means when you have a personal relationship with the Creator, there are certain things that you know instinctively that you need to shed, certain thought process that you know you need to shed in preparation to receive the one that the Creator has for you. Does that make sense? And so I knew for me, I had to get out of my own way. I had to stop thinking that I knew better and to understand that the God is the best knower. Now, some of us may be experiencing that, but we're not honest enough either to say it on a platform like this, or we're not honest enough to ourselves to admit that that's what's going on. But that's what's happening oftentimes, right? And so I'm talking to the Creator. I'm like, okay, I want to do this your way, right? And I had like one of those like sob, like crying hard type prayers, because I'm like, I really want to get this right. Right? I really want to get this right next time. And so when Anthony kind of came into my life as a result of us working on the charter school together, even though I was like, oh wow, he's a good guy. He's a really cool brother. Even though I'm having these types of thoughts, I'm still like, no, God, if you're not saying this is the one, then he ain't it. I don't care how good he may look. I don't care what good come out his mouth. If you're not saying this is the one, then he ain't it. And so when brother was asking, asking questions of me that were really more of like a personal nature, right? Of getting to know me as a person, I had to stop it. And I had to stop it there because I think as women, we give too much of ourselves in conversation to brothers, and you don't even give him the opportunity to show up for you. You understand what I'm saying? To show that he is even making the attempt to go about getting to know you the right way, right? And so once he asked for me, I said, okay, that was a good start. Right? That was a good start. That was an indicator, as my husband mentioned earlier. That was a good start. Okay, so now let's see the next part. We go through the courtship manual, and I'm checking things off. I'm checking things off my list. And I'm still saying to the God, if he is not the one, then I'm cool with that because I want your way. I don't want my way. I don't know this brother. You are closer to him than his own jugular vein, not me. So if there's something that you know about this brother that is not good for me, that is harmful to me, I don't want no parts of it, God. I am perfectly content being by myself until you have prepared the one for me. That's where I was with it. And that's the other thing. We can't be afraid to walk away when it's necessary to walk away. We can't be afraid to be by ourselves. So as we're getting to know each other in the courtship, and he's just showing me over and over and over again that he is trying to be the one. He was proving himself over and over and over again. And I mentioned how I'd asked him if he wanted to pray Fajr prayer together. And he was like, yes. He was on it. Yes. When it was time to get up, he called me. I didn't even have a chance to call him. He asked me, have you performed wudu, sister? And I said, yes, sir, I have. And he said, okay, let's get to it. Put the phone on speaker. Let's go. And the other part is, I could hear in how he prayed that praying wasn't new to him. Y'all didn't hear me. I could hear in his prayer and how he prayed that prayer was not new to him. And it resonated with my spirit. And because, and this is my personal opinion, because we prayed together during our courtship, I think it really assisted my spirit of discernment to know this is the one. This is the one I have for you, Karima. Now keep remaining faithful. Don't get out of pocket. Get all the way to the finishing line. He asked for me from my parents, and anybody who's ever met my parents, and there are very few people probably on this line that has met my parents. But my parents are no joke. And I know anybody who I bring to my parents and I say I'm trying to get married, trying to have a serious relationship with, my father is of West Indian descent. And I don't know if y'all know about West Indian men, fathers in particular, they ain't playing them games. So I knew whoever I brought to my mother and my father had to come, and they had to really be about their business. But I'm gonna tell y'all something that we haven't even talked about. My parents were so hardcore that when my husband, when he came over to ask for my hand in marriage, my parents, they like to travel, and they had this, it was some sort of artifact that they brought back from overseas, from cannibalists, on the wall. On the wall. I guess they were trying to tell Anthony low key, look, don't play games over here.
Y'all can beat somebody around here?
They had it on the wall, y'all. Oh, I just broke out laughing. I asked my mother, I said, what is that on the wall? And she said, it's something we brought back from overseas. The cannibalists use it. And I was like, cannibalists? Like, that's what we doing now, Mom? So he definitely passed my father and my mother's grilling and conversation. And later on, my mom called back and she said, you know what your father said? And I said, no, ma'am. She said, he's a good guy. Now that was a huge compliment from my father. Praise God. And so then we got married. So prayer, trying his spirit, not getting ahead of ourselves, really striving to do things the way that we are taught to do it. We call it Muhammad's way. You may call it Jesus' way, but really being firm about that, and not thinking that it's old or out of date, or nobody does that anymore, or it don't really work, or I got the new wave, the new teaching on how to handle it. No. No. You might, what did the minister say in one of his messages? He said, you might luck up on something. Then again, you might not, right? Okay, so we got some questions.
Go back up.
Okay, what's the questions? I'm sorry, y'all. I get passionate about how I met this beautiful Black man. Okay, so Brother David said, how have the I can't believe this is non-alcoholic wow moments been? Look, brother, we didn't have people that tried to bet us. and like give us straight up money to say that there was alcohol in it and there's not. I mean, that's how much they were like, we can't believe that there's no alcohol. Matter of fact, we used to have a whole like thing, right? Called
challenge.
It was a challenge that we used to have when we first got started.
Yeah, all I can say is they better be glad that I do not subscribe to gambling.
Man, what you say?
Taking all their money.
That'd have been another stream of income.
Yeah. So those have been pretty funny, to be quite honest. You know, it's funny in a couple of respects. Number one, because people, when you tell them it's non-alcoholic wine, they get all kind of silly comments like, man, that's just juice and all that, you know, you get all that. But then when they taste it, you know, you could see one thing for us we've observed is the body language says it all.
Look,
or just
fall out.
Or just, you know, like the eyebrows, like, man, you know, this really, are you sure? You know, so
stop it.
It goes from just being a great disbelief that this is even something close to it to be like, man, this really tastes like that. Now, the other side of that is you get some people, because the taste being, you know, because again, well, we didn't say it today, all the non-alcoholic wine that we provide is made with wine grapes. It's not made with table grapes.
Right.
So the taste is so similar to traditional wine that it scares some people. They get to the point, they feel like it's almost sinful. And you have to be like, it doesn't have any alcohol. Look, see on the bottle, look, like this bottle here, it says 0%. Like, you could do that to the person, and they're like, no.
I'm going to hell.
Yeah, they think they're going to hell. So the response,
you're not going to hell, y'all.
So the responses kind of run the gamut, but it's always, I'm always very entertained by those moments, Brother David. Very entertained.
Her brother said, "Oh, he must have been talking about how you said how you knew I was the one. Wasn't that sweet?" Oh, she said, "Did you say you created the questions or found them in a book?" No, the questions are actually in the book, Natasha. They're actually in the book, and there's space in the book for you to write your answers. And then it's almost like a therapy session, to be honest with you, because you're answering a question, and then as based upon what you wrote, the next question kind of pulls a little bit more out of you, right? So these are the relationships you were in. What are the patterns that you notice, right? So each question kind of pulls something different out of your awareness of yourself, right? And your awareness of the type of relationships that you've been in. So excellent book. We definitely recommend it.
And actually, I was just looking on Amazon. There is a workbook and journal companion to the actual book. Mm-hmm. So when you go out to Amazon, Natasha, you can actually get
both. Yeah, definitely well worth it. Okay, so next question. Let's see, Brother Samuel. That is the question. How did you stop overthinking it? It depends on what you mean by overthinking it.
Well, you were talking about, I guess, kind of getting this, I would say, confirmation, but you are still like, you know, it's almost as if you are in disbelief that this person that you're in courtship with is hitting the mark on so many different categories that it's like you almost are hesitant to believe the evidence that you're seeing. Mm-hmm. So you start overthinking it, you know what I mean?
But it wasn't disbelief.
No, I'm not suggesting it was disbelief. I'm saying, but if you are...
Well, let me just complete the thought. It wasn't necessarily disbelief. It was me trying to slow myself down.
Gotcha.
right? Because when you meet someone and they're checking all the boxes, what's the natural response, at least for me, is excitement, right? Oh my gosh, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for, right? The excitement. And so me kind of saying, no, keep trying his spirit, keep asking the questions, keep, listening for the response, listening to what he's saying and what he's not saying, right? That was me internally regulating my spirit to slow me down, right? Because if not, and I know I'm not alone in this, and I'm not afraid to say it, if not, we can allow emotions to get the best of us. And I really appreciate something that Brother Willie said at that singles event. And y'all should have been there, y'all single. But there was something that Brother Willie said at the singles event in Jacksonville, where he was talking about to say that there's no emotion in courtship is false. There is emotion because we are human beings that have emotion. But where engaging in a proper courtship, and I'm paraphrasing, so correct me if I'm wrong, honey, where engaging in a courtship does, it should allow you a harness to keep you from allowing your emotions to overwhelm you or overrun you, right? So now you're making irrational or illogical decisions based upon that emotion, but you're going to have emotions. So that's what I was doing, was regulating my spirit, regulating my emotions so that I wouldn't allow them to overrun me. And then I jump into something, i.e. a marriage, potentially, and it not be what it need to be, that the person who I'm, marrying is not fit for marriage. Right? Because just because he asks you for a courtship doesn't mean that he's ready to be courted. Or that he's ready to be your husband. He might just be a good brother. That might just be cool.
Indeed. So
that moment.
Now, as we start to wrap this thing up, all right. So we need to go to this poll.
Yes.
If you have you've been doing this, taking a poll. So let's go.
Okay, so we had the poll. We were asking how many of you, of us, have heard of Dry January prior to the show tonight. 58% of you said that you've heard of Dry January, and 42% say that you have never heard of Dry January. Okay, cool, y'all. That's not bad. That's better than I thought it was going to be. So I thank you for everybody who joined our poll. And every week, well, not every week, but every week that we do host, which is every 2 weeks, our next show is going to be Thursday, January 4th, same platforms. We're going to host another poll, right? And so this time we're going to definitely put it out ahead of time so that you can answer and get your votes in before the show.
Sounds good. So, we're going to talk more about this sparkling brew.
It's delicious. It has these wonderful, so this is our non-alcoholic sparkling brut. It is from our white wine collection. And it's actually one of the newer ones that we've added to our collection of non-alcoholic wines and sparkling teas. You can actually purchase this non-alcoholic wine or any other non-alcoholic wine that we have available on our site. And I'm going to put our website up here. There it is, www.magnoliacrescent.farm. You can order online and we can ship it directly to your door. Because it has absolutely no alcohol in it, we can ship it to your door. And we also have some wonderful champagne stoppers that my husband mentioned at the beginning of our show tonight. So if you get a sparkling non-alcoholic option, you have the signature Magnolia Crescent wine stoppers that you can order. They are available through Amazon. And if you've got Amazon Prime this time of year, shoot, you could probably order it tonight and get it tomorrow, because that's how Amazon does. So feel free to order them. They are really great. They help to keep the lifespan of your sparkling non-alcoholic wines or any bottle that is carbonated, it can keep, that's wine bottle that it is, it can keep your sparkling and non-sparkling options a little bit longer. And so we're actually enjoying our sparkling brut with a slice of blood orange. Adds just a little bit of sweetness to it. It's very, very nice. You don't have to. If you like your white wines more on the drier side, then you can just drink it as is. But even though it is a dry sparkling wine, it still kind of tricks the palate into thinking there's a little bit of sweetness there. It has wonderful citrus notes. So I think you definitely enjoy it. I taste the grapefruit. I taste the lemon, the orange, and actually a little bit of green apple too. It's just very, very nice. Wonderful beverage to have on hand for your dinners.
Absolutely. So, as we prepare to wind down, please stay tuned. As my wife stated, we will be back 2 weeks on Thursday. Find us here on Facebook Live. We will begin to incorporate YouTube and Instagram. So for everybody who connects with us on all these different platforms, you can find us live there. And then we'll get into more discussions about love, more discussions about being in business, this particular business as well. We will have some guests who will be joining us on upcoming shows to discuss a myriad of subjects. We also will probably get into some mocktail recipes because although we do provide non-alcoholic wine, we also are becoming the expert in mocktails, which are non-alcoholic mixed drinks that use our non-alcoholic wine as a base. So we'll have a lot of fun. It's going to be engaging. And again, our thing is sober sophistication, meaning that it's because you don't consume alcohol when you're being social or having dinner. It doesn't mean the experience should be dull or it should be lifeless. We always want to be energetic and enthusiastic and just bring the best of what it is that's within us and not bring anything artificial. A lot of people be like, well, when we tell them that it doesn't have alcohol, and they literally seem almost perplexed as to why that it doesn't have it and what am I supposed to be doing if it doesn't have alcohol? How am I going to enjoy myself? This is literally some of the conversation is how am I going to enjoy myself without alcohol in this beverage? And we tell them you don't need anything artificial to bring out what's already in.
That's right.
BYOB. That's right. Bring your own buzz. That's what Kareem always tells them is we just have to learn how to cultivate, develop what is within us. We don't need any artificial external influence. Just be yourself and let that come forth.
And just look at us as being your sober, sophisticated tour guides.
That's it. Exactly. Oh, you peeped that, Dave. Dave said you peeped mine down. Look, it's a double entendre. You know what I'm saying?
Look, he didn't even work at a Big D. He's just a natural.
Just came out.
He's just a natural.
I mean, the mixed non-alcoholic wine.
So those are our mocktails. So you only have an opportunity to enjoy our mocktails if you invite us to your different organizational events. And we actually become almost like your alcohol-free bartenders for the evening. And we do nothing but fruit-infused mixed drinks, aka mocktails. And that's our Mocktail Fest services. You can reach out to us during business hours, or you can email us now and set up a time. Let us know how many's in your party, the date, send a deposit, and we are there. Same thing with our pop-up and pour, which is an opportunity. It's really a wonderful, high energy, pop bottles, enjoy, have a good time while everybody's sipping on non-alcoholic wine. We kind of share some things about what they're drinking. Everybody's having a great time. We're entertaining your guests. You can incorporate us into the cocktail hour, as they call it. at any social gathering, even wedding receptions, baby showers, birthday parties, and fundraisers.
Yes.
So we have had a really great run with fundraisers. We've been able to contribute and give back to some really great causes, whether it be helping to restore places of worship, whether it be helping with raising funds for cancer research. We've really been blessed to be able to be a part of those types of events. So feel free to invite us. We've got great information we can send out to you. Our director of special events is Alexis. And so you shoot us an email. She will definitely get on it, and she will reach out and share any information that you need. Which is those last two songs are great.
Shout out to StreamYard for having these
portable DJs,
these little musical beds. Yes. So, all right, family. Well, please enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yes, thank you for joining us. We had such a good time. Did you have a good time? I hope so.
And because we know we will not see you all until 2024, God willing.
Yes, we got to put our glass up. Yes.
Please enjoy your holidays.
Be safe.
Be safe. Enjoy time with your loved ones.
Yes.
We all have experienced this year and last year. We can't take for granted that the people that we know and love, that we'll be able to see them again. So
that's facts.
I ask you all to make these upcoming holidays memorable. Be engaged. Put the phone down, other than you're taking pictures, but really have conversation. Get to learn more about the person that you see at all these family gatherings. There's something about that individual that you probably don't know.
Right.
Bring some sense of curiosity to the gathering and try to learn more about one another. Don't take each other's presence for granted, and bring something new from yourself to these gatherings as well. All I'm saying is, make sure you make it the best. Be safe. May God bless each and every one of you and your families. And may you close out this year in style and in sober sophistication, and bring in 2024 in the same manner. So until 2 weeks from now, I'll see you later.
Blessed New Year. Peace to you and your family. See y'all Thursday, January 4th at 7 p.m. Please follow, like, and share. And hey, let's go ahead and close this out with our official Sober Sophistication thing.
Sober Sophistication,
the
podcast. Sober Sophistication, living in a new way. It's alcohol free. When sober meets classy, live your best life and sip with us. Sophistication is a must. We're winning in a new way. When sober meets classy, sober sophistication. Sober sophistication. Sober sophistication.